Good morning, friends. Before you even take your first sip of tea, before you scroll through your phone, I want you to pause for a moment, just for a minute. Ask yourself something very simple, yet very powerful. Am I living today, or am I just existing? Every morning we wake up with a choice. A choice to either drift through life on autopilot, or to consciously design our day, our mind and our heart. Today I want to share with you 9 simple, yet life transforming questions you can ask yourself every morning. Questions that can set your day, your mindset, and your life on fire in the most beautiful way. Because you see, life doesn't wait for anyone, and your happiness, your growth, your peace, it doesn't knock politely at your door. You have to invite it in. And these 9 questions are your invitation. So let's begin with the very first question you must ask yourself every morning. Am I grateful today? Now I know what some of you might be thinking: gratitude. Oh, I'll just smile and say thank you to the universe, done. But friends, gratitude is not a one-line sentence. It is not a quick mantra. Gratitude is a way of seeing the world. It is a lens, a perspective that transforms the ordinary into something extraordinary. Imagine this: you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes, and the first thing you see is the ceiling above you. Nothing special, right? But pause for a moment. There are millions of people in this world who don't even get the luxury of seeing their next sunrise. Millions who wake up with worry, pain, or hunger. And here you are, breathing, alive, with a chance to experience another day. That is your first gift, simple yet profound. When you ask yourself, am I grateful today? You are inviting your mind to slow down. You are saying, let me notice the small things, the tiny miracles I often overlook, like the aroma of your morning tea, the laughter of your child, the smile of a stranger, or even just the feeling of the wind on your face. Gratitude opens your eyes to the richness of life that we often take for granted. And here's a secret: gratitude is not just about feeling good, it's about training your mind. Neuroscientists will tell you, the more you practice gratitude, the more your brain rewires itself to focus on abundance instead of scarcity. Think about that. Every morning, you have the power to shape your brain, not through complicated exercises, but simply by saying, I am grateful for this day. But let me warn you, friends, gratitude is also about honesty. Don't just be grateful for the easy things. Be grateful even for challenges, even for mistakes, even for failures. Why? Because these are the teachers in disguise. These are the moments that sculpt your character, that give depth to your soul. If you wake up one day and only notice what's wrong, your mind becomes a factory of complaints. But if you wake up and notice what's right, your mind becomes a sanctuary of joy. So, tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before you scroll through endless news, ask yourself, am I grateful today? And don't just say it, feel it. Feel the gratitude in your chest, in your heart. Let it ripple through your body. Smile even if no one is watching, because when you start your day with gratitude, the world begins to smile back at you, and slowly you will notice life is not just something that happens to you. Life is something you actively celebrate every single day. Friends, if you make this a habit, if you begin each morning with gratitude, I promise you the days will feel lighter, the challenges will feel smaller, and your heart will feel full. Because gratitude is not just a question, it's a way of living. Now, let's move to a question that can completely transform the way you approach your day. What am I responsible for today? You see, friends, Life has a funny way of giving us responsibilities we didn't exactly choose. Sometimes it's your job, sometimes it's your family, sometimes it's that project you promised you'd finish, and sometimes it's just dealing with your own thoughts. And most of the time, when we hear the word responsibility, our first reaction is, ugh, heavy, stressful, burdensome, right? But let me tell you something very important. Responsibility is not a burden, it is a gift. Think about it for a moment. Responsibility is what gives your life meaning. Imagine a world where no one took responsibility for anything, chaos, right? But when you say to yourself, I am responsible for my actions, my words, my choices, suddenly you stop blaming the world for everything that goes wrong. You stop feeling like life is happening to you. Instead, life starts happening through you. And that, my friends, is empowerment. Every morning, when you ask yourself this question, you are reminding yourself of something very profound. You are the captain of your ship. The storm may rage, the winds may howl, but you have the wheel in your hands. You may not control the waves, but you control your direction. And that is huge! Most people spend their lives drifting aimlessly, blaming circumstances, blaming people, blaming luck, and wonder why they feel stuck. But when you take responsibility, you are claiming your power, and there is nothing more liberating than that. No, let's be honest, responsibility is not just about big things. It's in the small things too. It's about how you respond to someone who irritates you in traffic. It's about how you speak to your children, your spouse, your colleagues. It's about whether you deliver on a promise, no matter how small. Because friends, responsibility is not measured by grand gestures. It's measured by consistency, by the integrity with which you handle the little things. And those little things, they add up to a life that is trustworthy, honorable, and deeply fulfilling. And here's another secret: when you own your responsibilities, life becomes simpler. Strange, isn't it? When you stop trying to control everything, stop blaming everyone else, and simply say, what am I responsible for today? Suddenly, clarity emerges. You know what you can fix. You know what you can improve. You know where your energy should go. It's like cleaning a messy room. Once you decide to take responsibility, everything falls into place, piece by piece. So, every morning, look at yourself in the mirror and ask, what am I responsible for today? And don't just answer it in your head, feel it. Feel the weight of your choices, the power of your actions, and the freedom it gives you to create the life you want. Because responsibility is not punishment. Responsibility is your invitation to play an active role in your own life. It is the gateway from being a victim to being a victor, from being a passenger to being the driver. And friends, nothing in life is more satisfying than that sense of ownership. So, as you step into today, remember your responsibilities are not chains. They are keys. Keys to your growth, to your peace, to your happiness. And every morning you ask this question, you remind yourself, I am capable. I am accountable. I am in charge. And with that simple shift, your day, your week, and even your life can change in ways you never imagined. Now, let's reflect on the third question, who can I serve today? You see, friends, most of us start our mornings thinking only about ourselves. What's for breakfast? What emails do I need to reply to? How do I survive the day? And in that rush, we forget something incredibly powerful. Life is not just about taking, it's about giving. And giving doesn't always mean big heroic acts. Sometimes it's as simple as offering a smile, a listening ear, or a kind word to someone who desperately needs it. Let me share a story. There was once a man walking down a busy street, feeling weighed down by his own problems. He saw an old woman struggling with her groceries. Without thinking, he went over and helped her carry the bags. That small act, just a few minutes of his time, completely changed the woman's day. And here's the magic, it changed his day too. Suddenly, he wasn't thinking about his own worries. He felt light, happy, connected. You see, when you serve, you step out of your own bubble. You discover that life is bigger than your problems. And joy comes not from getting, but from giving. Friends, serving others is not about sacrificing your happiness. In fact, it's the opposite. When you wake up and ask, "Who can I serve today?" you open yourself to a secret that wise people have known for centuries. The more you lift others, the higher you rise. Happiness, peace, and fulfillment are not things you find in possessions or achievements. They are found in acts of selfless service. And the beauty of this question is, it reminds you that you are not alone in this world. Everyone you meet is carrying a story, a burden, a struggle. And even the smallest gesture, a word of encouragement, a smile, a helping hand, can make a tremendous difference. Think about your workplace, your home, your community. Who needs your patience today? Who needs your kindness? Who needs you to listen without judgment? And I am not asking you to do this as a chore. I am asking you to do it as a choice, a conscious choice that will ripple far beyond what your eyes can see. Because when you serve, you plant seeds. Seeds that may grow into confidence for someone, courage for someone else, or even just a moment of peace in someone's otherwise chaotic day. And here's another thing. Serving others also teaches you humility. It reminds you that you are part of something bigger than yourself, that you are not the center of the universe, that everyone has a role to play, and every role is important. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is not to speak, but to listen. Not to act, but to understand. Not to give advice, but to offer your presence. So, every morning, make it a habit to ask yourself, who can I serve today? And let that question guide your actions. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be recognized. It simply has to be intentional. And if you do this slowly, you will notice a transformation, not just in the people around you, but in yourself. You will feel lighter. Your heart will expand. Your mind will become calmer. Because service is not just about helping others. It's about discovering the best version of yourself. Friends, life gives you countless opportunities to serve. Sometimes they come dressed as challenges, sometimes as ordinary encounters. But each morning, when you pause and ask this simple question, you are opening yourself to a life of meaning, a life of connection, a life of joy that cannot be measured in money or success. And remember this, the world doesn't always remember the big gestures, but it always remembers the love, the care, the attention, and the heart you put into even the smallest acts. That, my friends, is the true magic of serving others. No, friends, let's reflect on a question that is often overlooked, yet can completely transform the way we live. Am I listening to myself and to others? We live in a noisy world. There's always something demanding our attention. Messages, emails, deadlines, social media, endless chatter. And in this constant noise, we forget to listen. Not just to the people around us, but to ourselves. We forget that the answers we are seeking are not always outside, but often inside us. And listening, truly listening, is one of the most powerful acts of mindfulness and love you can practice. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who always complained about his relationships, about his work, about life in general. One day, a wise friend said to him, "You know, you don't have a problem with people, you have a problem with listening." The man was confused. "Listening, how does that help?" The friend smiled and said, "You hear words, but you don't hear hearts. You see faces, but you don't see souls." Suddenly, it clicked. The man realized he had spent his life talking, advising, reacting, but he had rarely stopped to truly hear what others were feeling. And, more importantly, what he himself was feeling. Listening, friends, is not just about being polite. It's about presence. It's about giving your full attention to the moment, to the person, to the thought that is right in front of you. When you ask yourself each morning, "Am I listening?" you are reminding yourself to slow down, to pause before reacting, to understand before judging, to feel before responding. And here's the secret: when you listen deeply, relationships transform. Conversations become meaningful, conflicts dissolve, empathy grows, and your own mind becomes calmer, clearer, wiser. But listening to others is only half of the equation. Listening to yourself, really listening, is perhaps even more important. Ask yourself, what is my mind trying to tell me today? What is my heart feeling? What do I truly want to create, to experience, to change? Most of us start our day by looking outside, seeking advice, chasing approvals. We ask everyone except the one who knows us best, ourselves. And yet, when you listen to your inner voice, when you tune into your own heart and intuition, life becomes more aligned, more purposeful, more joyful. Friends, the practice of listening is also a practice of humility. It reminds you that every person you meet has a story, a struggle, a lesson. When you listen without interrupting, without judging, without planning your reply, you create space for understanding. And when you listen to yourself without criticizing, without dismissing, without overthinking, you create space for growth. Because listening is not passive, it is active, conscious, sacred. It is a way of saying, "I value this moment, I value this person, I value myself." And here's a beautiful truth: the more you listen, the more the world speaks to you. Opportunities, insights, ideas, they reveal themselves when your ears, your heart, and your mind are open. Life stops being a chaotic noise and starts becoming a symphony. And the best part is, listening doesn't cost anything, but its returns are priceless. It brings clarity where there was confusion, connection where there was isolation, and peace where there was tension. So every morning, pause and ask, "Am I listening today?" Listen to the whispers of your heart. Listen to the struggles of your loved ones. Listen to the needs of strangers. And in doing so, you will discover that life is not about how much you say, but how deeply you hear. Because the wisdom of the universe, the lessons of life, and the beauty of human connection are all revealed to those who truly listen. Friends, listening is love in action. Listening is respect in motion. Listening is the bridge between chaos and clarity, between loneliness and connection, between fear and understanding. Make it your morning intention. And I promise your life, your relationships, your mind, and your heart will thank you in ways you cannot even imagine. No, friends, let's reflect on a question that has the power to completely shape your day, your week, and even your life. What is my intention today? Every morning, we wake up and often stumble into our day without a map, without a plan, without direction. We get caught in the routines, the chores, the endless to-do lists. And then at the end of the day, we wonder, where did all the time go? Why did I feel exhausted yet unfulfilled? Why did I feel busy but not productive? The reason, my friends, is simple: we live without intention. We live reacting to life instead of shaping it. And that is where this question becomes so powerful. Asking yourself, what is my intention today? Is like planting a flag at the start of your day and saying, this is what matters to me. This is my focus. This is how I will live, not just exist. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man caught in the whirlwind of work, social media, and distractions. Every day felt the same, chaotic, tiring, meaningless. One day, a wise mentor asked him, what is your intention today? The young man laughed nervously. Intention? I don't have time for that. I just want to survive the day. The mentor smiled gently. Exactly, and that's why your days feel like chaos. Intention is not extra work. It is the secret to transforming survival into purpose, chaos into clarity, and routines into meaning. Intentions, friends, are different from goals. Goals are about achievement, getting something, completing something, reaching somewhere. Intentions are about being, how you choose to show up, how you choose to act, how you choose to treat yourself and others. When you set an intention, you align your actions with your values. You transform each moment into an opportunity to live consciously rather than drift unconsciously. You move from autopilot to purpose-driven living. Think about it like this: every morning you have a choice. You can wake up and let life push you around like a leaf in the wind, reacting to every email, every message, every distraction. Or you can ask, what is my intention today? And suddenly your actions become deliberate, your words become meaningful, your interactions become conscious, and your mind becomes calm, focused, and clear. That is the magic of intention. And here's the most beautiful thing. Your intention doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be world-changing. It can be as simple as, I will be kind today, I will listen today, I will stay calm today, I will give my best today, or I will forgive today. These small intentions, practiced consistently, shape not just a day, but a life. Because intentions are like seeds. Plant them with care, water them with action, and over time, they grow into character, peace, and fulfillment. Friends, living without intention is like sailing a boat without a rudder. The currents of life push you wherever they want, and at the end, you wonder why you feel lost. Living with intention is like setting your compass. You may face storms, waves, and challenges, but you know where you are heading. You know what you stand for. You know what you want to create, experience, and contribute. So, every morning, pause and ask yourself, what is my intention today? Write it down if you must. Speak it aloud if you wish. Let it guide your words, your thoughts, and your actions. Because when your day begins with intention, every challenge becomes a lesson, every interaction becomes an opportunity, every moment becomes meaningful. Life stops being a series of random events and starts being a journey you actively shape. And remember this, friends, intentions are not rigid rules. They are gentle reminders, guiding lights that help you navigate the day with clarity and purpose. When you start your day asking this question, you are no longer a passive passenger. You are the driver, the architect, and the creator of your life. And that simple shift from autopilot to intention is the difference between a life that passes by and a life that truly matters. So today, take a moment, close your eyes if you need to, and ask yourself, what is my intention today? Let it be your compass, your anchor, your guide, and watch as your day unfolds, not as a series of random events, but as a masterpiece you consciously create. Now, friends, let's reflect on a question that can truly change not only your day, but your entire life. Am I letting go of negativity? You see, every morning we wake up carrying a backpack, and most of the time, we don't even realize what's in it. Sometimes it's yesterday's worries, sometimes it's resentment towards someone, sometimes it's guilt over a mistake we made, and sometimes it's fear of what might happen tomorrow, and we carry all of this around unconsciously throughout the day. And the strange thing is, we wonder why we feel heavy, anxious, frustrated, or even tired. The truth is simple: that backpack is full of negativity, and it's weighing you down. Negativity is sneaky. It comes disguised as logic, memory, or caution. It whispers in your mind, they hurt you, so hold a grudge. They don't appreciate you, so be bitter. You failed once, so give up. And if you listen to these whispers slowly, day by day, your mind becomes a prison of your own making. But here's the good news: you don't have to carry it. You have a choice. Every morning, you can pause and ask, am I letting go of negativity today? And in that moment, you reclaim your freedom. Let me share a story. There was a young man who was angry at his friend for something that happened years ago. He carried that anger everywhere: home, work, even during meals. One day, a wise mentor said to him, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The young man laughed nervously, but slowly he began to understand. The bitterness he carried didn't punish anyone else, it only hurt him. And that, my friends, is the power of negativity. It feeds on you, it steals your peace, it clouds your joy. But the moment you choose to let it go, you feel lighter, you feel free, you feel alive. Letting go doesn't mean you forget or ignore the lessons. It doesn't mean you accept wrongs blindly. It simply means you release the emotional burden that keeps you chained. Think about the air we breathe. Every time you inhale, you take in oxygen that nourishes your body. Every time you exhale, you release carbon dioxide that your body doesn't need. Your mind works the same way. Letting go of negativity is your mental exhale. It clears space for clarity, for happiness, for growth. And here's a powerful truth: negativity is contagious, but so is positivity. When you let go of resentment, fear, or jealousy, you not only heal yourself, you also uplift those around you. Your presence becomes lighter, your words become kinder, your actions become more thoughtful. Imagine a morning where, instead of holding on to grudges or worries, you start your day with a clean, open heart. How different would your interactions be? How different would your energy be? How different would your life feel? Friends, the practice of letting go is not a one-time act. It is a daily habit. Every morning, as soon as you wake up, pause and ask, am I letting go of negativity today? Think about the people you hold grudges against. Think about the mistakes you blame yourself for. Think about the fears that whisper, you can't. And then consciously release them. You can visualize it, you can speak it aloud, you can even write it down. The method doesn't matter, the intention does. You are telling your mind, I am choosing peace over anger. I am choosing love over resentment. I am choosing life over negativity. And here's the beauty of it. When you start your day by letting go of negativity, everything changes. Challenges don't feel like disasters. Criticism doesn't feel like attacks. Mistakes don't feel like failures. You see life with clarity, respond with wisdom, and act with compassion. And slowly, day by day, your heart becomes lighter, your mind becomes clearer, and your life becomes more joyful. So, friends, make this your morning ritual. Ask yourself, am I letting go of negativity today? And then do it. Let go of yesterday. Let go of what you cannot change. Let go of what drains your energy. Let go of the shadows that cloud your mind, because every day you carry negativity is a day you steal from your own happiness. And every day you let it go is a day you gift yourself freedom, peace, and joy. Let go and watch how life begins to flow beautifully, effortlessly, and miraculously in your favor. Now, friends, let's reflect on a question that can completely transform how you spend your time, energy, and life. Am I prioritizing what truly matters? We live in a world full of distractions. Notifications, deadlines, endless to-do lists, social media updates, news, opinions, expectations, it never ends. And if we are not careful, we start living a life dictated by urgency rather than importance. We chase what is pressing, and we often ignore what is truly meaningful. And at the end of the day, we feel exhausted yet empty. We have done a lot, but have we truly lived? That's the question. Let me share a story. There was a young professional, constantly busy, always on the move, checking emails at night, skipping meals, forgetting family birthdays. He was exhausted, but he felt productive. One day, he met a wise elder who asked him, "When you are on your deathbed, what will you regret most? What you did or what you didn't do?" The young man was silent, and the elder continued, "Most people regret not spending time with loved ones, not following their passion, not living their purpose, not the urgent things, but the important things." That question changed his life, and it can change yours too. Friends, prioritizing what truly matters is about clarity. It is about asking yourself every morning, today what deserves my energy? Where should I invest my mind, my heart, my time? And the key is, it's not always the loudest task, the most urgent email, or the most visible achievement. True priority is aligned with your values, your purpose, your long-term well-being. It's nurturing relationships, taking care of your health, growing in knowledge, contributing to others, and developing inner peace. Think about it like this. Imagine a jar. If you fill it first with sand, pebbles, and small stones, you will never have space for the big rocks. But if you put in the big rocks first, the truly important things, then the smaller things will naturally find their place. Life works the same way. If you fill your day with minor distractions, you have no time, energy, or space for what really matters. But when you prioritize the big rocks first, everything else falls into perspective. And here's another truth. Prioritizing what matters is not about doing more. It's about doing better. It's about focus, intention, and courage. It's about saying no to things that do not serve your growth, your joy, or your purpose. It's about letting go of societal pressures, peer expectations, and unnecessary comparisons. Because friends, if you try to please everyone, you will fail at pleasing yourself. But when you focus on what truly matters, your actions, your energy, and your life start aligning with your deepest values. Every morning, when you ask yourself, am I prioritizing what truly matters? You are creating a lens for your day. You are filtering out the noise and the clutter and choosing to live with meaning. You are reminding yourself that time is your most precious resource. Once it's gone, you cannot get it back. And this awareness changes the way you act, the way you speak, and the way you feel. You begin to invest in what lasts, not what just passes. And friends, prioritizing what matters also brings peace. Because when your actions align with your values, your mind stops the endless tug of war between what you want to do and what you feel pressured to do. Your heart stops carrying unnecessary guilt, and your energy is no longer wasted on meaningless pursuits. Life becomes simpler, lighter, more focused, and more joyful. So every morning pause and ask, Am I prioritizing what truly matters today? Make a conscious choice. Choose love over indifference. Choose presence over distraction. Choose growth over stagnation. Choose what aligns with your purpose, your values, and your heart. And as you do this, day by day, your life will transform from chaotic busyness into meaningful, intentional living. Because, friends, it is not the number of tasks we complete that defines a good day. It is the impact, the love, and the purpose we bring to each moment. Remember, the urgency of life will always try to pull you away from what is important. But if you anchor yourself in what truly matters, every step you take, every decision you make, and every interaction you have becomes part of a life well lived, a life that leaves a mark, and a life that is deeply fulfilling.